I've been flying with both of these for 2 years as a professional pilot, backcountry aviator, YouTube content creator, and I'm gonna tell you if the Bose A30s are better than the ones that they replaced, the A20s. And the answer might surprise you, and it might not be the one that Bose posts on their website or YouTube channel. So in a former life, I used helmets. We had these Axis earplugs. You know the singers that have the things? It's the same company. They did a gel mold in your ear and they were custom fit and they fit great, but there was no ANR. Ever since I retired from the military and been flying 737s for the airlines, bush planes at 99 decibels, I've got a Bonanza that I fly at 89 decibels. I use these things a lot and I've been gathering data, and I didn't want to put my reviews out there too soon. I wanted to really live with them and cement my decision and opinion. So quickly, let's talk about release cycles. These bad boys, A20s, were released in July of 2010, and then it took 13 years to come out with the A30. So if we forecast forward, that's 2036. So these will be the flagship for the industry for a very long time unless there's something that disrupts it. Okay, two major things in any headset review is how much ANR the headset provides and what does the sound quality actually look like, or sound like, I should say. And that's not something I can hand you through the screen, so you're gonna have to kinda take me at my word. As well as the wearability of these things for long periods of time, that's where you're really gonna have to trust a little bit of my background and expertise and the fact that this is 3 years later in the game. Before we get to the final verdict, I'm gonna give you both the pros and the cons of the newer A30 headset. The first pro of the A30s, toolless mic swap. I can swap the mic from over here to over here, and that matters. I went from first officer to captain, right seat, left seat, and you want the mic to be on the opposite side of your co-pilot. So that was really nice. And then if you have another airplane and want to swap it back, you don't need that micro tool and with the threat of losing tiny little screws that the A20 had, you can do this just in a quick snap. Second, the bags. This is the A20s, the older one. This is the A30s. You can tell it's a little bit more streamlined and compact. It does slide into that flight bag just a little bit easier. And when you're flying as much as I do, every little bit matters. The third thing is clamping force, and I'm actually gonna put that in the con side, so we'll come back to that in a second. And the fourth thing, of course, is a brand new chip. You'd expect that out of a new headset, right? A new digital signal processing. But once you turn on that ANR, coming from, I mean, it's analog when it's not on, right? But then it adds in the ANR, but it also tweaks the EQ scale or something that just doesn't sound quite right. I really wish I could convey this to you. What I'm hearing in my ear is, it sounds like somebody's talking through an old tin can connected by a string. Not that quite that bad, but it just sounds false. It doesn't sound normal to me. Okay, where this headset goes wrong. First of all, this was about $1049, the A20s. Well, you're paying for more for the A30s. It's newer, it's about $1249. But what are you paying for? Bose will tell you you're paying for better ANR. Me, I can't tell the difference. Again, I wish I could measure this, not anecdotally, but it's about the same actual noise reduction. Again, I fly a really loud bush plane, a less loud Bonanza, and the 737, which is one of the louder jetliners out there. So I need all the ANR I can get. And it's about the same. It's very good. Let me just say that. It's very good, but is it worth the extra $200? In my opinion, no. Next up, weight. Yes, it's lighter. Bose will tell you this is about 4 grams lighter than the A20. 4 grams, negligible. Bose claims better battery life, but I haven't experienced that. It's about the same. Back to clamping force. Bose will tell you that they dropped about 20% of the clamping force on the A30s from the A20s. Sounds great on paper, but in practice, turbulence, raising my head up to check the overhead panel, these come flying off. It's actually more annoying than whatever clamping force I felt on the A20s. Guess what? It wasn't that bad. I prefer it to sit a little more securely on my dome than the A30s do. A headset that won't stay put isn't more comfortable. It's just a headset you're constantly reseating on your head. For some reason, Bose decided to make the power button flush so you can't feel it in the dark. In a dark cockpit, you're hunting for it with a flashlight because you ain't feeling it with your thumb. That's a step backwards for anyone who flies at night. Another one of Bose's big selling points on this A30 is 3 levels of ANR, which I think is just silly. For the applications that I fly, I want the most ANR I can get. If you're flying in quieter cockpits, is there a reason you need to have less ANR to talk to somebody? We'll get into that in a second. And again, when you're turning the ANR level down, bringing in more outside noise, all it's doing is it's bringing in whatever microphones are on the outside or the inside of the cups, and it's just amplifying that inside of your ear. So it's digitally signal processed, so it's not just ambient noise, it's processed noise. Worse, if the level gets bumped down by accident, you'll be sitting there wondering, well, why is it so muddled in my headset? Why am I hearing background noise? Oh, it got bumped. Let me turn the A&R back up to max. This next feature, I just don't quite get. Tap to talk through. I think the theory is you're sitting next to somebody, you haven't started engines yet, but you got your headset on and you want to talk just over the voice. In the 737, if you don't want your pushback crew to hear what you're saying, you got to go cold mic, so you have to talk over, so you just put it over your ear, which is another time where it's even less clamping force than before, and now any sort of movement will knock your headset, but I digress. The tap to talk through feature sounds great in practice, but you just tap it and then it brings in ambient noise on that ear. So first off, if you accidentally tap it, you're gonna feel a little bit disoriented because one ear is giving more background noise than the other. And then the other thing is, again, it's digitally processed noise that it's just bringing in. Great idea and concept, just bad execution. Let's talk quickly about bulkiness and materials. Yes, this looks a little streamlined and fits better in the bag, but again, it's only 4 grams lighter. This thing is a beast and it has a thicker cord. I just like the heft of it. I do like the clamping force, and the weight, again, is negligible. So I honestly think that they just saved money in the design of this thing. But the A20s, they're just built rugged. I have confidence in them as a headset. So you guys have probably guessed it by now. Here's where I land in the competition between the A30s and the A20s. I love my A20s. You can try, but you can't pry the A20s out of my cold, dead hand. I love them. Do I fly with these? Absolutely. I still do fly with the A30s. These are my only 2 headsets other than my helmet. And what I do is I just leave this in my GA aircraft, the A20s, and then the A30s come with me on trips. Yeah, it's a little bit lighter. It's a little bit more streamlined. It fits in my bag a little bit better. And honestly, I never turn on the A&R in the 737. It's quiet enough. It's a louder cockpit than other jetliners. I've never flown anything else. A lot quieter than this airplane behind me. I just put it on and never have to change the batteries. If I don't turn them on, they still work great. Their passive noise reduction is great. I don't notice any difference between passive noise reduction, by the way, between these 2 headsets, but I just don't like the digital signal noise processing that it adds to my FO's voice or the radio comms. Just don't like it. So I just leave it off and never change the batteries. So that's the flagship for the entire aviation industry. One that we're stuck with. Is it a bad headset? Absolutely not. Did they improve upon the A20s? Absolutely not. And as of today, we're still a good 10 years, if history is prologue, from getting anything more advanced. I have a feeling that they'll iterate maybe an A40 sooner than 2036. Let's hope so, and that they do better than the A30s. So if you fly with both of these headsets and see it differently and prefer the A30s, let me hear it in the comments. I'm open to different opinions, but if you're shopping for a headset and considering going with the latest and greatest, which I typically do, listen to me now, believe me later, the A20s are gonna be your best bet. They're very hard to find, they're out of production, but even if the ear cups are beat up, grab them, save some money, and replace the ear cups. I know they sell them on Spruce. I did the same thing not too long ago. Good as new. All right, there goes my Bose sponsorship. Bose, hit me up if you want me to test your A40s and put them through the ringer, because clearly I'm critical. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm Steve. Till next time, you're cleared direct.